What's up, YouTube? It's me, Kevin. About a year ago, I showed a template that I made that goes on your palette. And today I'm going to show you how to use that template. Not only how to set that template up on your palette, but also how to set up multiple color design on that palette as well. So stay tuned. It's the first of the year, 2022, so I'm making fresh marks. Every year I try to make small adjustments to my template, and the previous one I made works great, especially if you only have like back clamps, but I have side clamps now, so I move my images a little more so my registration marks aren't exactly in the same spot every time, so I can get more images on the screen. And so for that reason, this year I'm only putting lines down. I have had questions about how do I know that that is what's on the screen is right on the palette. And the first thing you need to do is find the center of your plate and draw you a mark at the top and draw you a mark at the bottom. You also need to make a line 3 inches down from your collar, from the top of the palette, or wherever your palette is. I know all palettes are different, so your palette may not be an actual square, but figure out where your 3-inch mark is and make a line on both sides. Once you have your center lines and your 3-inch lines, move your screen into place and line it up. And your center lines should line up and your 3-inch lines should line up. I would highly suggest going around your entire press and making sure that every one of your palettes line up with that or are extremely close. If they don't, if one palette is about 1 inch over and you pull your shirt center of that palette, it probably will print 1 inch off. Another tip that I highly suggest is once you mark your palette is to put the double-sided PMI tape on top of it. Now you can see there's like a white ring going around my double-sided PMI tape. That's because I put blue tape around the outside edges. And this will help you out significantly when you go to pull this shirt off, that it doesn't catch this edge right here and start pulling your PMI tape off. Once the double-sided PMI tape loses its tackiness, I still use water-based adhesive on top of this. So it'll still work for quite some time. But when it gets to the point when I need to replace this double-sided PMI tape, I don't have to worry about putting my lines back on there, because taking this off is just a matter of grabbing the corner and there it is. Now I got a brand new palette ready for another layer of double-sided PMI tape. Now that you've seen how I set up my palettes, I am about to show you a 3-color job setup. It's really a 4-color job. I'm just skipping the highlight white because I'm only making 4 shirts. So this is a 3-color job setup. Stick around and you'll see exactly how I set up my multiple color jobs. The first thing I want to do in order to line up this 3-color job is to lay down a Palon, and what this does will keep my screen from hitting the glue or adhesive or whatever you're using to hold the shirt down. But I can line my design up. If this is a 1-color design, I'll just straight up go straight here with my screen and line it up with my lines. Being a multiple color, I still use my film positive just so I can see the 1 stroke that I put in it, so I know if it lines up or not. The crosshairs work great, but every now and then, like the bottom part won't line up exactly like it needs to be and it looks like it is, so I still use the film positive regardless. And this is actually a good example of why I don't put the registration marks on my palette because of the side clamps, and that's the fact that this isn't where I want the design to land according to the registration marks. These registration marks are strictly for these 3 lines, the middle and the 2 sides, to get lined up. So I'm actually going to move it down or up according to where I want it to, and then I'll adjust on my side clamps. With the side clamps, I will try to get it close and then lock them down, and then unlock my side clamps so that I can move it left or right. And all you gotta do is tap it. Eventually, it'll get super close. Now it's pretty close. I'll lock them back in. Off contacts, not bad. At this point, I can unlock my micro registration marks and move the screen ever so slightly to get it lined up exactly where it needs to be. Now I'm looking at the design right now, but then I'll go back and look at my marks, and then I'll lock that in and probably pick it up once or twice just to see if it tries to move any, which it didn't, and everything's looking pretty good. Let's get this color going. It needs to go over a good bit. You can see where, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see my 1 point overhanging just a bit. Did I just put that on the mark? That's money. That's 2 screens. And the final one. Just gotta butt this one because I cut it. That looks pretty gravy though. I like it. Come over this way, I think, a little bit. Yeah, it's got the even. That's pretty even. I think the blue will cover that up. Lock it down. Off context, excellent on this one. Take my registration marks off. Those 2 already done. Do the other 2 and get with it. So that's how I set up multiple color designs, and I hope it helped you out if you use that template. Even if you don't use the template, that should help you out if you have troubles with multiple color designs. It was a little tricky trying to record and get some angles and work some water-based inks and not letting it dry up in my screens. But thankfully I only had to make, you know, 3 or 4 of those things, so it worked out pretty all right. A special shout out and thank you to Tiano Inc. for giving me credit on the template. And if you haven't purchased the template, I'll leave a link in the description on where you can get it. Or if you're good enough like he is, you can just make it yourself. But until next time, peace! Let's do this again, because whoops. That was good.